Hi guys, this is Sin. In this video, I'm going to show you how to survive after a nuclear explosion in your city. As you can see, I have a city here with a 95,000 population, and it's fairly beautiful at night because you can't see the nuclear fallout, if you will, on the ground just yet. You notice in the horizon, we finally built a solar farm, my wife and I, so we won't be building any more nuclear power plants in this region map. Now, for most people, if a nuclear explosion happens on their map, they would just basically abandon the map and play another city or play another region. Well, in my case, I really didn't have the option to do that because I'm playing with my wife, and this is a region that we want to develop. On the horizon, there is her city. This city is my city. Now, I had a nuclear power plant very early on in the game, located right about here. And as you can see from the dark areas on the map, it exploded. That's why you can still kind of see this haze, probably caused by nuclear fallout and the pollution that my factories are generating. So if we look at the radiation map, it's pretty bad. So basically, half of my map has been unusable, basically after year 4 in the game, and I'm currently in year 16. So basically, I have not been able to use this map for the vast majority of the time I've been playing the city. So how do you survive from a nuclear, fallout or nuclear winter, whatever you want to call it? First of all, you got to secure your water source. If you watched my previous video, I showed you how to create an unlimited water source within your city, and that technique works whether the ground is polluted or radioactive. So in this particular case, my water treatment plant and my sewage plant are right next to each other. You can see it's very heavily polluted. It's probably radioactive, but my sewage treatment plant here, I'm all using filtered pumps, and it can filter out all those radiation and pollution. So that's the first thing you need to do. You need to ensure that your water supply is safe and plentiful for your city. The second thing you want to do is, well, since that part of the map will no longer be usable, well, what could you use it for? Well, actually, a radioactive and highly polluted ground is perfectly suited for industry. In this case, I've got my recycling plant right here. I got 2 of them, since my city requires 2 of them. I then turn the materials that I collect from the recycling plants, such as alloy, metal, and plastic, in particular the alloy and the plastic, and I have a processor factory here, and I turn them into CPUs. I then further process. I have 2 CPU factory. I then turn that the CPU into television. So you take the CPU, the alloy, and the plastic, and you produce television. What that ends up resulting is you end up making a lot of money. You end up making usually anywhere from a few 100,000 to a million transactions per month, depending on what's happening in my city at that point in time. As you can see, if I run this city long enough, say a few hours, this 26 million will actually become 30 million, 40 million. At some point, it was actually 57 million before I started giving away money to my other cities. So as you can see in the monthly transactions here, I'm making pretty good money. I mean, not bad for a city that's been decimated with nuclear radiation and its map being not very usable. At least half of it is not. So as you can see, my population is located on the better half of the city. You can see they're basically all mostly high-rise buildings. That's how you can cram 95,000 people in only half of the map. Another thing you can do is you can also use, believe it or not, radioactive and polluted ground as tourism ground. Maybe it's a bug in the current system in SimCity, but as you can see, I built the Sears Tower or the Willis Tower. You can see the land value is as high as it can get. There's also the Statue of Liberty, Big Ben. Oh, I guess that's not a Big Ben. But regardless, the way to increase the value of your radioactive or polluted ground is simply just put more parks. So I built 4 parks in this tiny region here. The 4th one is right there. And for some bizarre reason, tourists likes to come to this site. As you can see, this one particular structure is making $18,000 a day. I mean, not bad for ground that's polluted and radioactive. Anyway, this is Sin, just showing you that there is life after a nuclear explosion. You don't have to abandon your map. You don't have to give up and go find another region to play. Also, radioactive ground or polluted ground is the perfect ground for your university. Um, One of the things you will need when you have a nuclear fallout is a hospital. So my particular city here, since I have a very beefed up hospital, I have the emergency center, I have the surgical center, uh, the diagnostics lab. So basically, even if my entire city gets sick from this radiation, which a lot of them are getting sick, my hospital can keep up with it. So that's how I can maintain a population of 95,000, even though half of my city map is radioactive and highly, highly polluted. Um, you can research how to improve the ground, such as plotting, planting trees and forests and things like that. And I've tried many, many times with this much level of pollution and radioactivity. Trees really just won't cut it. I mean, I've planted trees here many, many, many times. I've basically given up on it. I know somebody on the internet wrote that it takes 34 years. Maybe it does. I'm only in technically year 12 since my nuclear reactor exploded. So I've got quite a ways to go. So perhaps at a later time I'll replant those trees. But as you can see, my city is thriving. Got lots of high-rise buildings. I've basically researched everything that can be researched in the game as far as the university goes. So there's really nothing for me to do other than collect money in this city and transfer it to my other cities. Anyway, this is Sin, just showing you that there is indeed life after a nuclear explosion.